Holy man. So itchy. What's up, y'all? It's Maria Torre here and welcome back to my channel. So it's been a while since I've been in front of the camera, TBH. So if you notice I'm a little finicky, fidgety, whatever the word may be, do excuse that. It's also really hot in my house and I have mad mosquito bites on my legs. So if you notice that I'm just, in general, just moving around a lot, it's because it's hot, I got a beanie on, my hair is down, and also I'm itchy as shit. So yeah, but I'm glad to be back and I'm happy to know that you guys are watching this video this week. And I want to say thank you for always coming back to watch these videos. And just like that, I would like to say, as usual, if you haven't done so already and you're new to this channel, subscribe to my channel by clicking the red button down below, turn it from red to white, and you'll be updated as to every time that I upload a new video. And if you're a returning subscriber of mine, well, extra cookies for you, because for some reason you keep on watching my stuff, and you know, that's great. That's actually really great. So without any further ado, let's get into the video, because I do tend to talk a lot during my intros for no reason and not even introduce the subject. But let's do the opposite thing today, where I actually talk about the video within the first minute. So let's get right into it. The topic of today is an interesting one because it is something related to the Big Fat Confidence series, where I kind of came up with it a couple days ago, or something came to my head and I just felt like talking about it. And I hope that it does make sense to some of y'all, especially the ones who may be watching this video because, well, you need a little bit of a confidence boost, and I'm hoping I can be some source of that. The topic of today is basically faking it until you make it. This is a concept that, at least here in Canada, in the US, anywhere where English is a predominant language, I've always heard people say fake it till you make it. And that goes for a lot of things, whether it's your skills at a job. You know, obviously you have to have some skill in the job site. You can't just fake being an electrician until you make it to being an electrician, you know what I mean? But like in general, if you have a little bit of some, you can always work at it. You can fake it until you make it, kind of thing, you know? And the way in which I want to relate it to my Big Fat Confidence series, if you suffer from insecurities, if you suffer from things that make you uncomfortable, if you are shy about some things, or are shy while doing some things that you're really good at or even not good at, you kind of have to persist in yourself and persevere that fear and insecurity, because you can fake it until you make it. Sometimes you just honestly have to pretend to be good at something, and I'll get into the detail as to what I'm talking about in a little bit, but sometimes you have to pretend to be good at something, doesn't matter what it may be, and to be honest, you'll eventually be good at doing it. I think this emerged in my head as an idea for a video when I saw some, I'll be real here, I saw some twerking videos on Instagram, because Instagram is full of twerking nowadays and like all that bass and cake. I saw them videos, and I've spoken about this before on my channel. I don't think that I have the greatest butt. I do not think I have a butt to begin with. And you know, I see these girls twerking, and some guys, to be honest, and I'm just like, it'd be nice to twerk like that. But I've been told that I'm a good dancer. Not necessarily a twerker, but you know, I've been told that, like, you know, I know how to move my hips, I know how to, you know, whine a little if I have to. It made me think about it. I'm like, how is it that I lack a certain body part that make twerking look even greater, looks more fun that way if you have a more predominant butt? And I was thinking about it, I'm just like, you know what, maybe it's because I just pretend to know what I'm doing, or I pretend to know that I got what I'm shaking. And if it makes any sense, if you kind of dance as if nobody really cares or is just judging you, and if you own the way that you're dancing, it'll look like you actually know what you're doing. If people see that you know what you're doing, or at least it seems to them, they're perceiving that you know what you're doing, even when you don't, eventually, like, they're gonna see that you're more confident, they're gonna see that you are actually, whatever, maybe intellectual, knowledgeable, or skilled at whatever it is that we're talking about. And relating it to confidence, I feel like that's something that can kind of help in the situation when you're not a very confident person. I did go through this a lot more in my university years, where I was already confident but not like the most confident I could be. What comes to my head is, for example, some people would call me pretty, or some people would say that, you know, I look good and all these things, and I just wouldn't believe it. Like, I'm like, okay, sure, I'm average, whatever, but they don't mean it when they say that I'm beautiful, whatever. But when you get complimented, even if you don't believe it at first, I feel like if you just tell yourself, yes, I am, without necessarily integrating it and internalizing it into your id, into your ego, into your super ego, into the back of your brainstem and everything, I feel like eventually telling yourself those things, you can actually become a more confident person. And I feel like this is because thoughts eventually turn into attitudes, and attitudes eventually turn into actions. And if you just say to yourself that you are beautiful, even if you don't necessarily believe it, you'll eventually, I think, in my opinion, this is what helped me, I eventually took those people's compliments and I was like, you know what, maybe they're seeing something for a reason. Maybe they're complimenting me because they actually do think I'm attractive. They're not just saying it to be jerk. Even if that's their intention, I would like to say that I grasped the comment in a positive way, and eventually, you know, okay, so they think I'm pretty. I turn that into a thought. Okay, I am pretty, or maybe I am pretty. I'm pretty to some degree because somebody else thinks so. Then that turns into an attitude of like, yeah, I'm actually pretty, and then it'll turn into your overall confidence of you knowing and believing, integrating it that you are pretty. Now, I'm not saying exactly that you should take people's compliments and use it as validation that you are pretty, fit, in good shape, you have a good physique, whatever it is that we're talking about here. I don't think that you should base your personal confident opinion about yourself just on people's comments, because I do have to admit, like, some people do become addicted to validation and they can only really survive, for lack of a better word, in this world by getting validation from others. If you are not complimented, you feel like you actually got uglier. Some people do have this mentality. I know people personally who do have this mentality. Perhaps know internally that you do have something which people are attracted to, whether it's your eyes, the shape of your nose, your freckles, a little gap between your teeth, you know what I mean? People are saying things because they want to compliment you. They could compliment like 100 other people and they're choosing to compliment you. And I think that, you know, if you happen to listen to those words enough, you'll eventually start seeing that people see something in you, so you should as well. And again, this is not to say that people's validation or comments, or, you know, even disregard, so the lack thereof these comments, I don't think that that should mean that you aren't worthy of something, but at least recognizing yourself with people's comments that you are worthy of some attention, you are worthy of being recognized for your beauty, for your intellect, whatever it is. And if people aren't complimenting you, my advice to you is this: recognize that you're good at some things, whether it's fishing, whether it's drawing, you know, helping others and stuff like that. Let's say that, for example, you're a good dancer, like I said before, or not a good dancer, but you are a decent dancer, you dance, whatever, but you're not, like, you don't think of yourself as the greatest dancer. You know, you keep practicing at such skill because you just really want to be the best dancer, whatever. It's not just about practice, it's about also believing that you are good. A lot of people can practice a certain skill 100 times a day, every single day of their life, and then if they don't have that confidence within, they're not going to be as confident as somebody who has been dancing for way less time than them but owns what they got. And I feel like the same thing goes with confidence. If you have been called pretty all your life, and if you've been complimented by everybody, you've been on 1,000 dates a month ever since you were 16, and you don't believe that you're that pretty, you don't believe that people are saying the right thing, you don't believe that you're beautiful, that you're worth or value anything, you won't be a confident person. But somebody who, you know, remotely even believes the thought that they are pretty, with or without people's compliments, you know, eventually if you tell yourself every day, I am worthy of love, of success, I am pretty, I do have a pretty smile regardless of my crooked teeth or whatever it is, I am who I am and I'm beautiful because I believe I am. Even if you don't truly believe it at the beginning, I feel like if you tell yourself those things, at some point you will eventually come to know yourself as beautiful. You'll come to know yourself as, you know, ooh, good neck crack. I feel like you'll eventually be confident. And speaking from personal experience, like I said, in university, a lot of people would compliment me and, you know, I'd be like, you know what, and then I started seeing myself in the mirror. I was like, you know what, I don't think that I'm that pretty. I don't think I'm like super fly or anything like that. But I eventually just looked at myself and I was like, maybe people are seeing something and saying something about it because they do genuinely believe it, you know what I mean? Why don't I start believing it? And just like a twerking contest, I may not have the greatest butt, but, you know, as long as I know how to move the little that I got, and by little I mean a lot little, I'll eventually seem to know what I'm doing, even though, you know, I don't have the greatest butt for it, or I haven't had the greatest skill, I haven't practiced for many years or anything. Just like that, with confidence, I feel like here and there, yes, you're beautiful. Just a reminder for today, you're beautiful. Oh, yes, you're successful. Oh, yes, you got this. That's what happened to me. I feel like eventually I can look at myself in the mirror now and be like, yeah, you know, not because of other people's comments, but I can see myself and say that I'm beautiful and genuinely believe so because I just am. And not just physically, I feel like this comes from within as well. I hope that this made sense. I hope that you guys understand what I'm saying. But yeah, fake it till you make it. With your thoughts becoming attitudes, which then become actions, which are your words, telling yourself and believing it that you are a beautiful person and a confident person at that, eventually you will become way more confident than you initially ever thought that you'd be. So yeah, guys, this is something that I wanted to share. It came into my head a couple days ago. I think I was literally in the shower and I was like, oh my god, I should write this down because it literally makes sense. And I do have friends like this who suffer from these kind of like insecurities. They believe that they're not anything in particular about whether it's a skill or their looks or whatever. And I just feel like if you tell yourself these things, like, you'll eventually be able to like grasp that idea, feed it into your brain and let it internalize and grow there until you actually become a beautiful person person because you believe you are. Does that make sense? I really hope it does. It made sense when I thought about it in the shower, and I swear I wasn't on any drugs or anything. I don't do drugs, kids. I hope that this made sense, and as always, if for some reason I didn't, or if you have any questions for me to like elaborate on what I've been saying, feel free to leave them as comments down below. I love having conversations with you guys downstairs or in private messages, whether it's on Instagram or here on YouTube, whatever. I love interacting with you guys, especially if it relates to the Big Fat Confidence series, because I like helping people feel better about themselves, and I want to spread positivity. So if I can give you a little bit of happiness by you just watching my video or you sending it to a friend, I can make them happy somehow. I truly do appreciate that. And thank you for sharing my videos if you guys ever do so. Sometimes people, like I've said before, have difficulty translating their thoughts into words, so I hope that my words relate to your thoughts. So yeah guys, that's pretty much it. If you guys do like the content that I post, and if you know, like this first video of mine, if this is your first time here on this channel, or if you're a returning subscriber, like I said, give me a big thumbs up because I super appreciate the support. And as always, make sure to subscribe down below. The button's just down there, and like I said, if you click it and ding the notification bell, you will not miss any single upload from me. And as stated before, leave any comments down below, whether it's concerns, questions, comments, inquiries, or just simple hellos. I like those. Leave them down below so we can interact, we can become a little family, and also I can elaborate any of the questions that you guys may have about the topic that I touched upon today. Also leave your suggestions downstairs for future videos that you guys want me to do, whether it's me speaking Spanish. You guys know that I'm trying to get more confident with speaking Spanish in these videos, or if you have a topic that's really important to you, if you have a challenge that you want me to do, or whatever you come across on the internet that you want me to do. If YouTube appropriate, of course, leave it downstairs as a comment. Thank you so much for watching my video once again. I love you, and yeah, nothing else to say. So until next time guys, keep up the awesome, never change, and I'll see you guys next time. Dios me los bendiga, and Maritoria out.